Welcome back, everyone, to this episode of This Week in College Football. Back with Sonny. We have a lot to talk about this week. Things have been going crazy. Finally, some headlines.
John, I say it every year this time of year. It's talking season, and boy, do we have a lot of talking to do. I know that there's a lot of people doing talking, and I know there's equal amount of parts that are not film watching. So this is
Oh,
this is peak
God.
off season activity right here that we got.
Yeah, first off, this was insane. I don't know if you've seen this, obviously, but Colorado quarterback Julian Lewis. I can play the clip here. That's insane. That is an insane quote.
So I didn't hear it on my end, but I know exactly the quote that you're talking to. And this to me is just one of the most wild things that I've ever heard at a Division 1 level. As a matter of fact, like any conference, division, whatever you want to call it, how do you go through a season and not watch film or break down defenses?
Yeah, it was crazy. He basically said that we were just. I'm actually looking at the defenses now. Last year, we weren't really looking at defenses much. Just kind of high school free balling, just out there playing football. Hello, what does anyone on that staff get paid to do?
Yeah, if you're not watching film, then what are you doing? Because it didn't look like they were in the weight room. When they were getting bullied by the likes of Arizona State and Kansas State and Utah, they sure as hell weren't
Oh.
spending any time in the weight room last year.
I mean, they had back-to-back weeks, so they gave up 50 points last year, I think. That Arizona, Utah, right? It was
Yeah,
back-to-back.
but yeah, and I want to throw this out there too. How shitty must you feel if you're Iowa State? Iowa State was ranked when they lost to Colorado. 3-win Colorado, who wasn't
Watch
even
film.
watching film. Dude,
Yeah.
I coach the modified level of football, which in New York State is grades 7 and 8. We watch film. You're telling me that a Division 1 quarterback, athlete, team, whatever you want to phrase it, isn't watching film? I was going to ask how are you ever supposed to get better, but they went 3-9. So the answer is obviously never.
Yeah, I was gonna say they went 3-9, and I know they did bring in Brennan Marion, so hopefully he's a big upgrade for them. But I mean, it'd be hard to be a downgrade, like you just said.
Yeah, and like what went sideways between there and 2024? Because 2024 they were pretty good. No, I know Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter. Obviously, you're going to be pretty good with those guys on your team.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, what are we doing here?
Now, I want to ask you. I saw Deion Sanders posted yesterday. I think that he's finally cancer free again, like completely, which is great news. But do you think he'll be at Colorado past this season?
Well, first of all, I'm glad that everything's going good with Dion health wise. And anytime we rag on him and people get upset with us because of this, it has nothing to do with him as a person. Him as a person, like that's the kind of coach you want. He wants you on time. He wants you to do the right things, and he wants you held accountable. He doesn't want you watching film, but he wants you doing things the right way. To answer your question, though, of if he'll be there next year or not, I very much struggle to answer that because I don't know that Colorado will ever get rid of him because of the money he's bringing in. Now you got to think if 3-9 continues and that trend continues, especially as, in my opinion, the Big 12 is going to continue to get nothing but better. I don't know how long they can withstand that. And then there's also the fact of, does Coach Prime see an opportunity somewhere else where he jumps at that, whether it be another college job, which I don't necessarily see happening, but what if there's an NFL situation that pops up? And for those of you that think I'm crazy for that, Urban Meyer was an NFL head coach for 9 games until he had a situation at a bar.
Yeah, and the one with the kicker too. It was a crazy time.
Oh yeah, didn't he kick his kicker or something?
Yeah, while he was warming up, he kicked him. Like,
Good lord.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is. I think Marion will probably take over once Dion leaves. I just don't know when that'll be. But this is a crazy quote. Um, Moving on to a conference and team I love to talk about is we're going to talk about Warde Manuel and the disaster that this guy is. I don't
Every
even know where to begin.
time every time I read a headline about Michigan football, it gets nothing but worse. and I don't understand how this has been going on now since what, January, February? And if you want to backdate even longer to when Harbaugh was actually there, hence the Sharon Moore suspension at the beginning of the season, I think it
Hmm.
was last year, dude, we're just getting nothing but worse. This program is just a disaster. And you have to think, even if it's not true, you have to at least think and wonder this has got to be happening within other athletic programs at Michigan, correct?
Oh, of course, absolutely. I would even just say at Michigan. I think people, and this is just me spitballing an opinion here, but just interacting with a lot of people, I feel like this kind of behavior happens a lot more in college athletic programs than people think.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I think it happens everywhere. I think it's just kind of no different than when recruits are being played.
Hmm.
Everybody was doing it. It's just a matter of who gets caught. Now, I think at Michigan, it's much worse than elsewhere. I mean,
Hmm.
you don't hear about college coaches getting restraining orders against people, and now there's new supposed information and reports and text messages, which are alleged, and I don't believe them. But like, we're just getting wild here.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are wild new accusations that came out. We could talk about them a little bit. They have to do with abortion, so it's a little bit of a touchy subject, but it's just crazy. I don't know if it's true, but apparently Harbaugh like knew that Paige Shivers was getting an abortion or like pushed her to get one. I don't really know.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then something needs to be done, with Harbaugh and anybody that was involved. And if that's not the case, then something needs to be done with the people who are alleging it happened and it never did.
Yeah. And I want to talk about Warde Manuel real quick before we move on to anything else. But there was 10 scandals since 2016 in Michigan football, just Michigan football under him. You have Connor Stallion stealing signs. You had Matt Weiss getting arrested by the FBI for computer crimes. You had Sharon Moore doing whatever Sharon Moore was up to. Like, I know there was I forgot her name. It was Shemi something, but she like got hired as a recruiting assistant, and then her social media from her past was like really bad. They fired her. Um, Greg Scruggs DUI, Denard Robinson DUI, Harbaugh's Burger Gate, which in all doesn't really seem that big of a deal. Um, then you had Alex Jude, a football. At least they were watching film, but Alex Jude, they're filming gets arrested for trying to meet with a 13-year-old girl. Like they're just crazy things going on.
Just why? And I will say that the whole chicken fingers and burger story at Michigan is one of the more entertaining stories I can remember
Yeah,
in my college football fandom. Just the most, like, that was the 5-star meal that not even the players, recruits. These are 16, 17-year-old kids that you're trying to impress. Now, granted, it's easy to impress a kid with a chicken finger, but we can't call it a 5-star meal, okay?
yeah, that's
And Connor Stallions too, to a degree. I mean, like, it's ridiculous. He should be fired. Michigan should be in trouble. But at the end of the day, you're laughing at that. He went like full Bobby Cox, or Bobby Valentine, I should say, disguise, hanging out on Michigan State sideline. Was it? I know it was Western Michigan.
yeah. No, that was crazy when he was in the disguise on their sideline. That was just like there's these things that like if you put this in a warp and you told I mean in like a capsule and told people in 2010 this was gonna happen, they would not believe the changes that have happened in college football, the scandals that have occurred. You there? Hello?
You there?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
If you told a Michigan fan in 2010 that they were going to win a national championship between then and now, they probably would have negotiated in a few of those scandals and just kept them. You know, that's how desperate that Michigan fan base was, especially 2010. Your post Lloyd Carr, your post Appalachian State debacle. They're kind of struggling a little bit, and little brother Michigan State is on the upswing.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I don't want to go off on a tangent here because we're talking about Michigan. I'm excited for Pat Fitzgerald at Michigan State.
I am as well. You can't help but be. I wonder how long it's going to take for Fitzgerald to kind of right the ship there.
Yeah. All right. So now we can kind of let's move on to this one here because this is a one I know you'll be excited to talk about. Is where does Texas Tech rank amongst the biggest college football villains in recent memory?
Yeah, because it seems like the only thing that's really united college football fans as a whole in the last 15 years is the hatred of Texas Tech. And unfortunately, in the last 6 months, a lot of it has been warranted and deserved. But where do you think they rank within that in recent memory? I don't want to go back too far. Whatever you consider that to be, are they number one? Is there someone that's even worse?
Uh,
You
I'm,
can you can
I'm trying to
argue
think.
you can argue someone like Nick Saban, but you also got to remember he was beloved.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm not putting the villain tag on Nick Saban. I can't do it.
No, I won't either. But you're going to have a lot of Georgia fans and Tennessee fans and even Michigan State fans that are going to disagree with you. Anyone
Uh,
who's not an Alabama fan, for the most part, is going to give Nick Saban the villain tag.
I can't give it to him
Why though? I'm interested to hear why.
because I think he wanted. I mean, he wasn't. I don't think there's anything worse than like the other coaches in college football. Like, I mean, again, you know what team I'm a fan of, so we weren't really affected by Nick Saban much. But
Okay, but I would argue for him the same reason you could call him a villain is the same reason the NFL would call Tom Brady a villain. Now I know Nick Saban wasn't deflating footballs, but it was just the greatness and the dominance for such an extended period of time. And even as a Bills fan, I have to admit that that was true. That happened.
yeah, yeah, I guess I could see that. I think this guy would be my biggest villain of all time in college football, but Texas Tech probably the biggest program right now.
Yeah, Greg Sankey's definitely up there.
There's no one who wants worse for college football than Greg Sankey.
You know, I don't know if I agree with that. I
Oh,
don't
come
know if I
on.
agree with that.
Are you sure? I think he cares about the SEC. He cares about maybe the Big Ten. He does not care if the other three conferences disappeared tomorrow.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the case for a lot of not athletic directors, but I would argue one even more than that. Not necessarily that it's recent, but he retired in 2021, Larry Scott. Because
Yeah,
if you think about it, his decision, you can trace and I know they're still around. I know this is going to be a revival year. I'm so happy Pac-12 After Dark is back. But the death of the Pac-12 as a Power 5 league, you can trace back to one thing, and that is Larry Scott going rogue with the Pac-12 network, not signing an exclusivity deal with CBS or Fox or ESPN, wanting to do it on his own, which I give him credit. You want to maximize the dollars that you're bringing in for your member institutions. I get that. But you have to be smart about that. And yes, I know they brought in Colorado and Utah. Yeah, that's great. But look what happened after that. And George Kliakov, who was the commissioner after Larry Scott retired, he's not blameless in this either. But he inherited a disaster.
yeah. Larry Scott was terrible.
So I would argue he's up there as well.
Yeah, I mean he basically killed the Pac-12. So there's no question about it. Larry Scott, he was terrible. Don't get me wrong. I just think Sankey now is part of the biggest problem.
I fail to see a conference commissioner that is not more of a problem than a solution. And I hate to say that. Like even your mark at the Big 12, like some of his comments during media days were just head scratching. I understand him wanting to dodge the Sorsby questions, right? Because that was a disgrace for like college football as a whole. But selling the rights to the Pac-12 or to the Big 12, I don't think he got as much money as he can.
Mhm. One thing that I really talk about here with these villains, and I don't think if we're going just teams, right? I think Texas Tech gets a lot of the like shit end of the stick is the best way I could put it. When really, I feel like a lot more blame should have been placed on Cincinnati for the Sorsby incident.
I want to agree, but I just don't know how much they were involved or how much they knew going in. Or not going in, but coming out of it, I should say.
Yeah, that's true. I just feel like a lot of people put the blame on Texas Tech when they were listen. They were in a shitty situation. Did they handle it piss poor? Yeah, they did. But
Yeah.
I feel like they're the first program I think to go through this. I think you could look back on them now, like look back on this whole situation, and they're gonna be the how-to manual on how not to handle this. Like,
Oh, God, yeah.
yeah,
Like, I don't know that there is a right way to handle it, but we just saw a textbook example of the wrong way to handle it. It
yeah.
was embarrassing for everyone involved. Even as much as I like Joey McGuire, I think he's a great coach. He handled it wrong. He made a fool of himself. The entire athletic department at Texas Tech did. The donors, who are some of the most loyal donors, trying to buy as many championships as they can in as many different sports as they can. They just made themselves look ridiculous.
Yeah, no, they definitely did. Like I said, I don't know. They're the first team to deal with this, and it's going to happen again. Mark my words. Within this season or next season, there's going to be another player get caught gambling on a big team.
We've already had a coach get caught, didn't we? Wasn't the guy from Kent State? Was it Kenny? And not
Oh,
Kenny Smith.
it was Kenny Burns.
Kenny Burns, yeah.
So allegedly, because he was like a lot of money in debt.
You don't just stockpile yourself that far in debt for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, like he like maxed out all of his credit card stuff, and I think he took like $100,000 in loans from like a booster or something like that to his personal checking account.
$100,000 in loans from a booster for a program that couldn't buy a win for 2 years.
1 in 23 in his 2 years, by the way.
Go get a friggin' offensive lineman. Don't put more money in your DraftKings account.
Yeah, that was crazy.
By the way, I want to bring this up also. I mentioned the deal with the Pac-12 or with the why do I keep doing that with the Big 12 in their new, sponsorship deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's with Monster Energy, right? Monster Energy currently right now owned by Coca-Cola. Most of the Big 12 schools are Pepsi schools.
Oh shit.
Yeah, good luck navigating that one.
All right,
That's one that's strictly on the business end that we as college football fans, people, we're probably never going to see the end result. Just know that behind the scenes, there's probably a shit show going on with that too.
All right, here's a question I want to pose to you before we get into Tom Herman, just because this episode's running a little short. So I'm gonna hit you with one off topic here, Sonny.
All right, what we got?
You just talked about the Monster Energy Big 12 thing. I know Culver's is doing Wisconsin. What other partnerships could you see between schools and brands?
I mean, I think the obvious one is Rutgers and Jersey Mike's.
You say Rutgers, Jersey Mike's. I say USC and Trojan.
Oh, there are so many comments to be made there, and I will not make any of them.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of good ones out there. Rutgers and Jersey Mike's, yeah, that could happen. Rutgers and Wawa. Maybe
I don't know if I can think of any that would be like really, really great or just make sense.
Miami and Publix maybe.
Yeah.
Where's who has what is that thing called? The truck stop, like the one that everyone likes to go to. Oh, I can't. People are gonna roast me.
Buc-ee's?
Yeah, Buc-ee's. Who would that be?
No. Hold on. You never insult Buc-ee's by calling it a truck stop again.
Well, it's like a gas
that
station,
is
right?
slander. That is slander. Buc-ee's is a magical place.
Yeah, but that's like what it is, right? Like.
No, it's not what it is. Stop doubling down on this. You're wrong, John.
No,
John,
I've never been.
You know what? No, you need to make a life-changing decision and go there, okay? I'll tell you this, okay? It's Disneyland, it's Neyland Stadium, it's Waffle House, and it's Buc-ee's. That's your Mount Rushmore right there, okay? Your Mount Rushmore of the happiest places on earth. And I'm not going to sit here and listen to you slander Buc-ee's again.
I wasn't slandering, though.
You're slandering Buc-ee's. You're like, oh, it's just a truck stop. Just a truck stop. You have nothing because you know I'm right.
All right, Illinois and Jimmy John's. Huh?
Is that an Illinois thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it?
What about DraftKings for Texas Tech?
Yeah, I mean that might get a little dicey.
Yeah, well, I mean you could fully get into the bit of being like
Oh, I could fully lean into this.
All right, I don't want to go too far off topic, but so tell me, what is so special about Bucky's?
Have you
I've
just
never
said
been.
you've never been?
Yeah, I've never been. That's what I'm asking.
So the Bucky's that I went to was in Sevierville, Tennessee. Okay.
Okay.
First of all, good luck finding a place to park. There were probably like 50 gas pumps. It was crazy. Look, you're on the website now. Get yourself a gift card, take a road trip, change your life. Okay. You walk in, dude. It's like a gas station meets Target meets Kmart. It's just the greatest place. The food there is delicious. They have cool collectibles. They have like anything that you could want is right there.
So it's kind of like a Rudders.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a Pennsylvania Bucky's, I guess. It's like
Wouldn't Pennsylvania Bucky's be Sheets?
no, but they have Rudders too. Rudders is better than Sheets. I swear.
I don't know what that is, so I can't argue on that.
Well, let me just set the scene for you at Rudders. There's one outside of State College, Pennsylvania. Me and my cousin, after the whiteout, we're driving back home to New Jersey, right?
It's
And we go,
probably the only thing within a 200-mile radius of State College, Pennsylvania. It's
yeah,
like being the nicest guy in prison. What other choice do you have?
we got on the interstate and we're like, damn, we're not ready to drive yet. So we stopped there. They'll sell you spiked slushies in the store, and they had like little slot machines. So we
What are we
stayed there
spiking
till
them
like
with?
1 p.m. Oh, like whatever you want to spike with, anything.
For real?
Yeah. We stayed there till like 1 p.m. We left till like 8 a.m. We were there for like 4 hours.
So hypothetically, I could get a Budweiser slushie if I wanted one.
Yeah, you could.
Dude,
And
you talk about life changing, man. You might have
they
this
also
is
had these
awesome.
mozzarella sticks. They were pretty good, but they're from a gas station, so temper your expectations.
It's hard to screw up mozzarella sticks, though.
Yeah, especially when you're serving them with Budweiser slushies.
Maybe you won't even notice they're screwed up at that point.
Yeah. All right. So one more thing. I think it's all we have left this episode, actually. But one more thing we have to talk about here is, when you have a mess like Florida State, why not just fully buy into the bit, right, and hire Tom Herman?
Yeah, I have a conspiracy theory that this is like their safety net, which is a terrifying thought. But when Mike Norvell eventually gets fired this season, because he's going to,
Yeah,
Florida
absolutely.
State's not going to be good again this year. They might be average, but they're not going to be good enough.
Mhm.
Is this their kind of like backup plan to coach the last X amount of games per year?
I hadn't considered that, but now that you said that, I'm fully bought into that theory. Like, this makes a lot of sense for that. Like, he's going to be the guy to take over the rest of the season.
Yeah, 100%. Like, dude, I don't see a way Mike Norvell makes it out of October as head coach.
Let me pull
They're,
up their schedule.
I'll go through it right now because I got it right in front of me. They're going to beat New Mexico State week 1. You're right, Diego Pavia
Honestly,
walking through that door.
yeah, okay, yep.
They're not going to beat SMU. Alabama's going to, I know it's not Nick Saban team anymore, but they're going to come in pissed off. And they're just going to blow the doors off of Florida State. They'll beat Central Arkansas. Virginia, who pretty good last year, at Louisville, at Miami, versus Clemson.
Yeah, bro, he ain't making it out of October. He's fired right here. October
which
7th,
game?
October 18th. Done right here. Well, they have 2 wins, and it's only over New Mexico State and Central Arkansas.
And of note, October 18th is the start of their open week because they don't play again until Halloween. But then if you go, but here's the thing, you're entering dangerous territory now because you enter November, right? Hypothetically, let's just say Tom Herman is your interim head coach, right?
Yep.
At Boston College, at Pitt, NC State, and Florida. If they go 2-2 or 3-1, are you risking like overconfidence of like, hey, he just righted the ship because recency bias, and you make a crazy move and bring him on full time?
I was gonna say, are you trying to set the stage for Tom Herman getting hired full time?
It would you put it past Florida State at this point?
I mean, look, if he went, what you said, 3-2 in these games, I think he'd definitely get an interview at least.
3-1, like even Florida, that's probably their toughest game in that stretch. That Florida's I don't know what to make of them this year. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're like last year, you know how high I was on them. This year they got a new coach and DJ Legway's gone. So I don't know what to make of them. NC State's always tough, but it's home for Florida State. Pitt, you know what I think of Pitt and their coach.
Yeah.
And then Boston College has just been in the dumpster for many years now.
Yeah, the Bill O'Brien experiment, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to have a good ending.
No, but I think I said this on the last show we recorded. Another conspiracy theory, Jason Candle.
Yeah, that could happen.
That's I think why he took the UConn job. He wanted
Yeah,
1 year to get
familiarize
his feet
himself.
wet in the Northeast, learn a little bit of recruiting. You know, if he doesn't do great at UConn, you know, it was his first year rebuilding, and you give him the benefit of the doubt because of his track record.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that could be a possibility. You want to familiar yourself with the Northeast because he's not a Northeast guy, but back to FSU, man. Like, I don't know where they go from here. If you don't fire Tom Herman, I mean, if you don't hire Tom Herman after you fired Norvell, because I mean, let's be honest, we're talking like Norvell's a done deal already. Like, he's fired.
He should be. I
Yeah,
thought he should have been gone last year.
same.
But if you hang on to him for next year, what kind of message are you sending to recruits, fan bases, donors, all of it?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, going into the season, like I see people talking to Florida State fans, and they're like, "Oh, like we're not even excited for this year. Like he's a lame duck." It's like when the president's about to be like kicked out, and there's a new president coming in. Nothing he does says matters because everyone thinks he's gonna get fired.
How can you get excited for that though?
Yeah,
And
I mean,
like I just went to go look up to see what their schedule is for next year,
mhm,
and I figured ACC opponents wouldn't be out yet, which they're not. But their only two games announced next year are East Tennessee and Florida.
mm.
So you have a directional FCS school and at Florida.
I love when people say that.
But it's the truth. Like, how do you get excited about that if you're a fan or a recruit or anything? Well,
Yeah,
because you might go to SMU and get blown out. You might have a home game with College Game Day there on a Saturday night and get absolutely smoked. Like Florida State is so far down the list. If you're a recruit right now, they're so far down the list of just in-state schools that you would want to attend if you're a football player.
oh,
And
absolutely.
and something tells me it's something with the entire athletic department also. Their softball team just got decimated by transfers. One of their top players who grew up a Seminoles fan decided that it's time to move on. That's weird phrasing for somebody who, you know, wants to be at a program. It just doesn't sound great, you know?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, and you may not know the answer to this, but I could have swore I saw they were in a lot of debt as a program.
Yeah, they're in a ton of debt.
Oh, they are.
And
Okay.
and they don't have any Texas Tech oil money to bail them out.
Yeah,
So
I
like
wasn't
where
sure if that
this
was true
this
or not.
the money has to come from somewhere, but it's not coming in. So where is that somewhere?
Yeah, and I wonder if this is going to be a shift because this is how schools fall off. Like Florida State, I mean, you got to think what 12 years ago they were a national championship or won one, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
they won, and now they're going quickly down the Nebraska path.
Yeah, like stunningly quick. And we're quick as in like I would say a win away from the college football playoff, but they won all their games. They went from undefeated to mediocre.
Hmm.
And last year, I know they improved. You improved from 2 wins to 6. Good for you. What is that going to get you in college football this year?
Yeah, it's a what have you done for me lately world more than ever with NIL too.
And another thing that we have to consider too is, and again, this might open a door for a deeper discussion on something else. I am of the belief that in 2026 in college football, it is easier than ever to build a winner. And because the reason I say that is because you're not so heavily relying on recruiting. It's now the transfer portal where you can go and you can just essentially buy free agents. There's no salary cap. Look what Texas Tech did last year. I know the results weren't there when they got blown out by Florida State. There's a lot to be said for homegrown programs too. You look at Notre Dame, you look at Georgia, you look at Ohio State, teams that don't really bring in a ton of recruits, right? You can argue them, or you could go flip side and say, Clemson does it all through recruiting, and look how they've fallen off. Clemson needed to rattle off 4 straight wins last year to even make a bowl game against Penn State, who was another just massive disappointment.
Yeah, that was a really disappointing year for Penn State, but an even
So,
more disappointing year for Clemson. I don't want to mean to interrupt you. That's another conversation that got to be had: is how long does Dabo have left?
Dabo's another one. I don't know what to make of Clemson this year at all. They're being projected in the upper half of the ACC, which I can certainly see. They're not going to beat LSU to start the year. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't see that either.
They should start 2-1. Lose at LSU. They'll beat Georgia Southern. They'll beat North Carolina at Cal. That's a sneaky, sneaky team. Cal might be a dark horse 8-9 win team this year.
Yeah, I really love JKS and Ian Strong for them.
So you go to Cal, and then the following week you follow it up with a home game against Miami.
Yeah, I mean this could
That's
be
a tough stretch.
It could be 2-4. Going into mid-October. That's rough.
They could be 2-4, but they could also be 10-2 for the year.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to make of them right now.
The only good thing is, sorry. The only good thing about Clemson here is after that Cal Miami game, their schedule lightens up a lot. I feel like. I mean,
Yeah, but does it?
Not too much actually. Just Georgia Tech. No, yeah, not really. No, not really.
It should lighten up, right? Yeah. But Virginia Tech, they're going to be better. Florida State, who knows what to make of them? Syracuse, not going to win the conference. Steve Angeli's back at quarterback. They're a wild card.
Yeah, they gave you belt last year.
Angeli, I'm telling you, Syracuse is a team that they might only win 4 or 5 games. They're going to beat someone this year that they have no right beating.
Yeah, well, that was like last year when they played Clemson, and Jelly carved them up.
Exactly. And they're going to the Carrier Dome this year.
Right?
Yeah. And they're going to the Carrier Dome this year. Then you got Georgia Tech, who probably won't be as good without Haynes King. Mm-hmm. You go to Duke, who, they're without Darian Mensah now. They're still defending ACC champions. Mensah was a great quarterback. He didn't win that title on his own. And then South Carolina with Lenora Sellers. So, does it get easier after the Miami game?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, this is like the only two wins I'd mark up right away. Charleston Southern, you should beat the brakes off them, and I think you beat the brakes off Florida State.
I think you have no choice but to hang 70 on Charleston Southern, especially if you have as rough a start to the year as they could. If they're 2-3 to start the year, you got to lay a beat down to get some momentum going, because that Virginia Tech game is not going to be easy.
No, they're going to be much improved than James Franklin. I think they'll be in the ACC Conference Championship within 2 years. Maybe not year 1, but year 2.
It's hard for me to agree or disagree with that, because I don't think SMU is going anywhere. And I really think we've only seen the beginning of them and what they're going to accomplish. And sure. Louisville's on the upswing too. I mean, this whole conversation about the ACC, we've barely mentioned Louisville.
Yeah, and they're pretty good too.
Pretty good. They're kind of one of the darling playoff picks, potentially as a dark horse.
Yeah, they definitely could. I mean, they have Isaac Brown. He's so talented at running back, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where the ACC goes. I'm sorry we went so off tangent on Florida State, but this is one of the more intriguing leagues in the country this year.
It is, and I tell people all the time, and people on Twitter call me crazy, but dude, I feel like the SEC and Big Ten, it gets talked to death. I love talking about these conferences. I mean, not that the ACC is that far below them, but the group of 5, there's just so much more parity. It's so much more interesting to me.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so excited eventually when we get into some of the conference previews. Like the Big 12, I think, is going to be so much fun this year. That's one of the things I can't wait to get into. The return of the Pac-12 or the Pac-12. What is that going to look like? So much talent in that league. Maybe top heavy. It's there's a lot to talk about beyond just the 2 main contenders. And that's why I hate the idea so much of a college football playoff that consists mostly of SEC Big Ten.
Yeah, it's just not fair. It doesn't really give the fairness to the other programs.
It's not even that it's not fair. Imagine if the college basketball tournament took away bids to smaller leagues. We'd never see 5-12 upsets anymore.
Uh-huh.
We'd never see a team like VCU go on a run because you'd have some undeserving team who, just because their name is Kansas and they barely snuck into the tournament, they're making a deep run while a team that's deserving sits at home.
Yeah, that's just like you want to talk about like even right now the World Cup. You have you have teams like Cape Verde who had no business being in games they were in, but they played them close because just because they're not the best team every year doesn't mean they're not going to have years where they're competitive.
I don't know a ton about the World Cup, so I'm not even going to respond to that.
It's like a small country. Okay, it was like Cape Verde is like North Texas, and they played Argentina, who'd be like Georgia, and they were tied going into overtime.
I know what the country is. I'm just talking about the sport and the event in
Yeah.
general.
Well, they were like plus 5,000 underdogs, so like they had like no business being in the game, and they were tied going into overtime. Like
Was that the game where the refs may or may not have given Argentina a little bit of assistance?
exactly, that's the game Greg Sankey made the call for Argentina.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I think that's all we have for this episode. Now after this, Sonny, we have about 6 weeks till the season. I think we should do one episode a week of conference previews.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in. And as a matter of fact, there was one more thing that I had
Oh,
that I would like
I
your
miss it.
opinion on. Even though
Oh,
I
I did
said,
miss it. I'm sorry.
I know you said you don't have strong opinions on this, but I believe it was Irish Illustrated reported that the Notre Dame SMU series might get extended going forward. Now that Notre Dame has an opening in their schedule going forward because USC is absolutely terrified to play them, if this deal were to happen where it's SMU and Notre Dame on a yearly basis, which program do you think that this game would benefit more?
Well, I think you said SMU. I think you're talking about BYU, right?
Or yes, I'm sorry, BYU.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. Yeah. So BYU and Notre Dame might extend past 2027. Uh, I don't know what programs would benefit more. I think it benefits BYU more.
I would agree with that. Why
Yeah.
do you think that though?
I think it gives them a respectable opponent every single season. They don't have the toughest strength of schedule all the time. That was one of the knocks on them a few years ago. So if they can play Notre Dame yearly, and the year, not saying they're going to beat them often, but
They won't.
the years, whoa, all right, the years you do beat them, that's a respectable notch in your belt.
Yeah, and we've seen how much at times that the committee respects and appreciates quality losses. So even if BYU doesn't win this game, if it's a 3-point game, maybe that's enough to get them over the hump. Although we do know also that I shouldn't say we know, I perceive it that the committee does not have a lot of respect for the Big 12. So if they can
That
get
they
a
don't.
quality win over a team like Notre Dame, that just does wonders for their chances.
Yeah, and I see here someone saying that if Notre Dame extends this series at BYU, it probably means canceling future games at Boston College. But I feel like even for Notre Dame, BYU is they're a better opponent than Boston College.
I would agree. Boston College I mentioned it earlier, they're in the dumpster for many years now. And I truly believe that as long as Kalani Sitake is the guy at BYU, they're going to be a problem for any team they play.
Yeah, he's such a good coach. I think this benefits both teams really well. Um, Notre Dame, obviously, you hear it all the time. People complain they don't have a hard schedule. They pick and choose what opponents they play. But BYU is a good program.
They definitely are a strong program, and the whole Notre Dame strength of schedule thing. A lot of that you can blame on this awful ACC deal. I mean,
Mhm.
look at the teams they're playing this year. Is it really Notre Dame's fault that they have the schedule they do right now?
Yes.
Yes, it
But
is.
uh, I say I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But yeah, they don't have the best schedule. But it's not really their fault if that's the deal they get. I mean, Miami. It's not even this year. I would say their conference is not even that weak. Their schedule this year. You think this is a weak schedule?
For Notre Dame this year, I think it's very, very team friendly.
I think it's team friendly to Notre Dame, but I mean, we just looked at Clemson's schedule. And I don't think the schedule is that much easier than like the schedule Clemson plays.
Dude, yes, it is.
You think? You think so?
At LSU is tougher than any game on the Notre Dame schedule this year.
Oh, okay. LSU, they have that conference game, but you have Miami here. I mean, Clemson has Miami too, but you have BYU. BYU is a tough game.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
okay, but BYU, I would compare them, and people might not like this season. I can see them having the same kind of ceiling as a team like Cal.
Yeah, but I think we're looking at the schedule and saying it's easy just because Notre Dame's so much better than Clemson. Like,
No, I think it's easy because like who are the really like Rice is not going to give Notre Dame a problem,
no,
right?
that's a W.
Wisconsin, I hate to say it, is not going to give Notre Dame a problem.
Yeah, they're
Michigan
not.
State is probably 2 or 3 years out.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue is desperate to even win a game in the conference. North
Sure.
Carolina is a disaster under Bill Belichick. Stanford is Stanford. They got a bright future, but it ain't this year. BYU, there you go. There's your tough game. Navy, always a tough game for Notre Dame, but it shouldn't be. Miami, obviously, that's going to be brutal. Boston
Yeah, that's a
College,
big
I've
one.
buried them enough today. SMU is going to be tough. And then at Syracuse.
Yeah,
So you have
I
three
guess you're right. It
games
is
on there.
easier. It's easier, but I'm saying it's not. This is not one of those Notre Dame years where I look at it and be like, who do they play? I'd say this is an okay schedule. It's not. It's not a gauntlet, but it's not like Wisconsin only lost to Alabama about 14 points last year or 18.
Let me put it to you this way, okay? You are the athletic director at Rutgers. Which team schedule would you rather play next year?
Oh, Notre Dame's easily.
Exactly. Why though? Is it
It's
because Rutgers is so much better?
no, no. I agree. It's easier. I agree. It's easier now that I look back on it. But I'm just saying I don't think it's one of those years where I look at Notre Dame's schedule and say this is a joke.
It's not a joke, but like if BYU wasn't on that schedule, if that
Mhm.
wasn't a last minute addition, and you replace it with, I don't know, give me a Vanderbilt this
Mhm.
year, is it still really not that bad? Or are we
No,
looking at it saying, oh my God, this is a joke?
and looking back at Notre Dame's schedule last year is a gauntlet compared to this year. Like
Yeah,
you had Miami, you had A&M, USC, like Boise. Yeah, like this is an easy schedule for Notre Dame this year.
exactly. But if you look at like the potential of this, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, I believe was supposed to be the COVID year, correct?
Yeah, I
And it
think so.
got just pushed back. That was when Wisconsin was still doing pretty well. Rice, I mean, that's a gimme game. Michigan State, that game was scheduled, and Michigan State wasn't that bad. Then you got the
Yeah,
ACC games, which, what are you going to do?
yeah. No, this definitely isn't a hard schedule for Notre Dame at all. But I do think they sometimes get unfair flack for their schedule, Notre Dame.
Oh, they absolutely do. And there's people out there right now saying, oh, this is the easiest schedule in college football. No, it's not. I don't know who has it, but it's not this one.
It ain't us.
It's the truth. If you give me a second, I'll pull up strength of schedule ranks.
Uh, apparently Buffalo Bulls. Let's look at this article quick before we get off here. This says the 10 easiest schedules for contenders. Alabama, I don't know how they get Georgia. How do they have an easy schedule?
Because they play in the SEC. Every game's a cupcake.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Oh, Houston, yeah, that's a pretty easy schedule. I see a lot of people talking about them as a playoff dark horse. I don't know though. Under Willie Fritz.
Yeah, Houston's a team I can't wait to look. I can't wait to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, for Virginia, I can't believe they're not playing this game anymore. This got canceled, right? I believe. Hold on,
Which one is that?
NC State, Virginia.
They're
Supposed to
still
be
playing it because it's a conference game, but it's no longer in Brazil.
Right, yeah, because everyone else but them knew that was a bad idea, but for some reason they wanted to go play that game in Brazil.
I don't understand, and this goes for the NFL as well. I don't understand the obsession with the international market. I guess to a degree, I get it for the NFL because they're trying to make it like the Premier League. It's never going to happen in college. Why are we forcing it?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think there's enough people in Brazil that are gonna care about NC State. Like, how many NC State alum are in Rio de Janeiro?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Virginia. Their schedule is not exactly the toughest thing I've ever seen.
And so let's take a look at that before we get off here.
And NC State, Norfolk State, West Virginia, Delaware, at Florida State, Syracuse, at SMU, Duke, at Wake Forest, Cal, North Carolina, and at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's not super easy, but
It's
it's
a
not
very
difficult.
team friendly schedule for a team that played for the ACC championship last year.
Yeah, it is. All right, I think that's all we have for now. Next week we'll start with the group of five. I think that'll always be the most fun.
Yeah, we can do that.
So look out for that episode next week, and then we have a big guest coming up that we'll reveal in the next episode.
Oh, this is going to be one of the best guests we've ever had. I absolutely cannot wait for this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited.